everybody, this is Jane Bayler. It's Thursday night and we're going live on the Smart Connector group with an interview with Cecilia Harvey. Welcome, Cecilia.
Hello, I'm so excited.
Honestly, it's really, really great to have Cecilia here. We're very honored and privileged to have you here tonight because Cecilia is a very, very special person.
It's one way of putting it, I guess.
Yeah, so just a little bit about Cecilia. She's CEO of Hive Dynamics, which is a very exciting tech company that we'll be talking about during the interview. She's also founder and chairperson of is it TechWomen today, Cecilia?
TechWomen today, yes.
And Ladies Who Launch. So she's a very, very prolific and successful entrepreneur, and I believe you also raise funds. You're also active in investment, aren't you, Cecilia?
Well, I used to work in banking. Like for over 20 years, I worked in banking. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so over to you. We'd love to hear all about you, Cecilia. How did it all begin? Because you're not from the UK, are you?
No, yeah. I'm originally from New York, actually. And I've been in the UK it'll be 13 years. My goodness. It was only supposed to be for 3 months. And I could tell you more about that. But I started off my career working in Wall Street. I started off working in investment banking. I grew up on a trading floor. And through that experience, that's where I really got to experience initially technology. Those are very much technology businesses and using tech in order to grow those businesses. So I got very early in my career exposure to technology, and it was definitely something that I wasn't expecting. If you would have told me 20 years ago that I was going to be the CEO of a tech company, I would have told you you were absolutely crazy. But here we go. That's life, and absolutely enjoying it. So yes.
So tell me, what was it like being a woman on the trading floor in Wall Street? Was it really like the wolf?
Everybody asked me that. I had so much fun. It was just, I knew from really my first year at university that that's what I wanted to do. I was so fortunate in that my university had amazing programs and amazing alumni. And my first year, I went on this trip called the Wall Street trip. And what it was, and usually only students in their final year went on that trip. So I think I was perhaps the only first year student that went. And that year, we drove down on a bus. You can imagine the scene. It's, all women on this bus, heading to New York City at 5 a.m, wearing suits. Pretty much everybody had the same uniform, suits, bun in the hair, black suit, all of that. And we visited JP Morgan, Merrill Lynch, and Goldman Sachs. And that was the first time where I saw a trading floor. And I thought, oh my goodness, this is where I want to work. I was seeing all the activity and the buzz and the screens and the energy. I just thought, this is for me. So for the next 4 years, I really worked in terms of getting the right internships and just preparing myself to make sure that I had that job after graduation.
And you enjoyed it. You must have been a tough cookie because I can't imagine that it was that easy an environment.
It was a fun environment. It was challenging in that it's fast moving. You have to consider so many different things at once when you're doing trade execution. You have to also be calm. You have to also make sure that you're communicating well with your teammates. So from that aspect, it was difficult in that, there's so much going on. So you really have your mind straight. But it was such an amazing time in my life and my career. What I learned through that experience, I'm still leveraging in my career.
Amazing.
So I would give anything to go back and repeat it.
That's wonderful. So what happened after that, Cecilia? Then where did you go after you finished there?
Yeah, no, after that, I really much continued my career just working in different organizations within banking, always a technology edge to it, though. And I just loved working at different organizations and different banks and seeing different cultures and just different products. And financial services is such a dynamic industry. And
Mhm.
while also getting exposure to technology and how to manage technology like a business in such a fast, cutting edge industry, was just an invaluable experience for throughout my career. So absolutely enjoyed it, and just I think I've worked at pretty much every bank you could possibly work at on both sides of the Atlantic, whether it be directly for that organization or in a consulting capacity. But I absolutely love that, because one of the great things also in an industry like that is just the different people and the dynamics and the global nature of things, which I absolutely loved. So every day you're showing up and you're getting a new experience, you're learning, which was so important to me. I always wanted to be doing something where I would be constantly learning. And I always wanted to be doing something where I would be challenged in different ways. And I definitely got that throughout those years in my career.
And you've maintained that as well, haven't you, Cecilia? Because what you're doing now is so exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely love it. Like I said before, if you told me that I'd be the CEO of a tech company, when I first started out, I would have thought you were absolutely crazy. But my friends and a lot of my colleagues are like, yeah, like there was never any question that that was going to happen. But what I love now at this point in my career is leading an organization where you're doing tech that is really helping to make a difference in people's lives. Where Hive, we're a sensor technology company, and through our sensor technology, we provide data insights and just data precision for organizations. And one of the benefits of that is that our tagline is elevation through innovation. And it's something that we're so passionate about. It's something that you get behind, because technology can be an amazing thing that helps to really help communities evolve, helps organizations. But also, if you're not looking at it and doing things in the right way, it could be a weapon of mass destruction.
Absolutely.
So, particularly as a tech leader, and I think, we all know the different stories out there involving tech and leadership today. What was quite important for me, particularly being the CEO of a technology company, was making sure that we embedded the values throughout the organization of the type of technology company we were going to be.
Mhm.
Be inclusive, we were going to be accountable, we were going to be responsible. And that's something that goes from the most junior employee to the most senior person within the organization. And it's something that we all really take on board. It's something that is definitely embedded in the fabric of the organization. And it's
Mhm.
something that I'm proud of, that we're actually creating a culture there where people feel valued,
Mhm.
where we're creating innovative solutions that are really helping to improve societies, businesses, and also just day-to-day people's lives. And I think that that's something that is really makes me want to wake up every day, and definitely our team wake up every day and just go out there and just deliver the best tech we can.
That's really, really fantastic. And I think one of the things that you said that was most interesting, Cecilia, was about technology being, it can be a force for good or it can be a force for evil, depending on your particular values and mindset. And I think that's so interesting, because this is a strand that's about connection. So connection to many is really where technology hits large numbers of people, isn't it? And so what you do as a tech CEO or working in tech and bringing tech to the world is going to have inevitably an impact on society, isn't it?
No, absolutely. And I think that's one of the things that I enjoy most. One of the questions that I constantly put out there to people, and people are probably getting sick of hearing it within the company, is that when we're thinking about how the tech that we want to build and where we want to go next with what we're developing, I ask all of our engineers, our team, to think, okay, imagine a world where we can do X. Imagine a world where Y is possible. Imagine a world where we no longer have to worry about Z. And that's what we want to do with our sensor technology. So things that we thought were impossible now all of a sudden are a reality. And that's possible with tech, and that's powerful. And that's what
Very
that
powerful.
makes people want to work within this industry. That's what makes
Yes.
people want to give so much and develop tech, because if it's helping to advance societies and improve people's lives, I can't imagine a more enjoyable job where you feel fulfilled and where you feel that you're actually making an impact in
Definitely.
a positive way.
Definitely. So, Cecilia, I'd love to hear more about what Hive Dynamics actually does. So, could you just expand on that?
Yeah, I mean, and a great example is with what's going now with the current pandemic. So, as I said, we're a sensor technology company, and a lot of our technology is able to um, provide the sensors that is able to detect um, even even vital abnormalities. So remote monitoring capabilities of health vitals is a key thing right now.
Mhm.
Once the coronavirus pandemic hit, we knew that our technology was going to be completely applicable to creating solutions for this pandemic, even currently for the pandemic and even afterwards, because our sensor technology is able to detect if there are abnormalities in certain vitals. So if somebody is experiencing a sudden spike in temperature, if somebody is experiencing irregular heartbeat or irregular breathing patterns, some of these could potentially be symptoms for coronavirus, and also in terms of just any sort of vital abnormalities. And remote monitoring is something that's going to continue to be a trend, especially as we see capacity constraints within our healthcare systems, even before the pandemic hit. You
Oh,
had
yeah.
hospitals that were stressed in terms of people on the front line being challenged in terms of their ability um, to really be able to provide service for a growing population, an aging population.
Yeah.
We're definitely an aging population. So the ability to have those remote monitoring capabilities where your vitals can be monitored even before you make the decision of, do I have to go to hospital now? Is this something where I can wait? And to have those capabilities where healthcare organizations are able to monitor that remotely, it definitely does so much in terms of easing capacity constraints on organizations. With an aging population, back to my imagine a world, you
Yeah.
know, imagine a world where you won't have to, you have an aging elderly person, and their physician is able to monitor them remotely, and also not only their physician but also their family that's perhaps living in another country or very distant from them, and they'll have an understanding if there's something that's not going on right and we haven't heard from this person, and having that technology that enables people to do that, that's massive. And
Huge.
that adds value, and it's something that
Life-saving, life-changing.
passionate, yeah, about what we do.
I love it. I think that's so inspiring, and as you know, as you were saying, it's also life-changing. You can prolong lives, and you can get the help to people when they really need it. What could be more important than that?
That's the thing, and one of the key things that we're working on right now is just in response to what we have seen within the pandemic, and
Mhm.
particularly frontline healthcare workers, um, and just who need to make sure that they're equipped with the right tools, and that they have the personal protection equipment in order to make sure that they're in a position where they're safe. So we're working on embedding our sensors into personal protection equipment, so that there is an understanding of, are those employees okay?
Oh, wow.
Individuals okay? Because if there's one thing that has come out of this, it's an urgency and a need to make sure that not only people that are working in hospitals, but also when I say the front line, I expand that to mean people, the people that are helping in the supermarkets where we have to go every single day and make
Yeah.
sure that we have food on our table during this time. The people who are working in the factory warehouses to make sure that we're able to have the supplies that we need shipped around the world, making sure that they're okay and that they have an understanding, the organization has an understanding of, are they in a position where they are in the best health and what we can do to help and what we can do to help them. So there's just so much that has come out of this situation with the pandemic where one, it was great to see how our technology can really help to address the problems, not only going on now during the pandemic, but things that will continue even afterwards. So yes.
Yeah, that's right. I just think it's what you're doing is incredible. And are you rolling this out globally, Cecilia?
No, absolutely. I mean, this is the thing and this is the other thing, like the demand and just the response and just the organizations that want to partner with us to really make this happen. It's been great, and that's something that Hive is about. Also, from the word hive, a beehive, it's a collective, it's a community, and that's definitely part of the ethos of what Hive does is being that collective and that community and trying to bring together other organizations to address problems that relate to all of us. And that's another thing that I absolutely love about my role is playing a large part in terms of bringing that collective together, even outside of Hive Dynamics. So it's an amazing time right now. And I think that during these challenging times, it's especially as leaders, it's important for us to bring together and connect those organizations so that we can make sure that we're doing good and we recognize that that we're part of something bigger than ourselves.
Absolutely, absolutely. Which is the truth. It's the truth anyway. We are all connected to one another, but as you said, the power of technology enables us to make that real and actually translate it into caring for
Absolutely.
communities, not just individuals.
And that's what I love about what I do. That's what I see as a key aspect of being CEO of this organization. It's bringing that type of leadership.
Exactly.
I worked so many years for organizations where when you thought of leadership, it was about, did you hit your numbers? Or, did you do what you were supposed to do in terms of budget cuts and things like that? And I always saw leadership as something bigger than that. I always saw leadership as something bigger than myself. I see it as a responsibility, and you're taking on a role of service when you take on a role of leadership. And that's what I love most about what I do is being a CEO of Hive Dynamics.
Fabulous. So we've got some comments coming through, Cecilia. So we've got some, I recognize Lucky is on there because he said some great points. I know how Lucky writes great. And then we've got Jace, hi Jane and Cecilia. She's talking about independence and safety. A lot of people saying awesome, great people. And so we've got some nice compliments coming through. So guys, if you're listening in and you want to ask Cecilia some questions, this is your opportunity. They'll come through. So here she is. This is your opportunity. So I just thought I'd say that. So, so tell us a bit more about your personal ethos and your work as the chairperson of TechWomen today and the ladies who launch as well, Cecilia. Where does that all fit with your role, as a formal CEO of Hive?
Good question. I think overall, in terms of my personal mantra, it's always been about design a life that you love.
Yes.
I'm so passionate about personal development and professional development and having alignment between your personal world and your professional world. And what I mean by that is, I've always made sure that I was in roles and I was in situations and I was in conditions where I felt like I was in an environment where I was growing and I was developing. And if I felt like I wasn't, or I felt like that wasn't the right situation for me, I knew I had options. I remember when I was a little girl, my mother always said to me, she goes, "You have options. So make sure that
Oh,
you don't have to stay stuck in a situation." And one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about leadership and in my day-to-day job, and why I'm so passionate about the initiatives such as TechWomen Today and Ladies Who Launch, I've seen so many people who have been stuck. I've been stuck. And I think that it's recognizing your power and
mhm.
recognizing that you have the ability to change your situation. If you want to get out of that job that you find unfulfilling, you can do that. If you're in that toxic work environment, you can get out of it. If you're in that relationship where you just feel like it just isn't working and you just dread going home every single day, you can get out of that. So I think that, I'm very much about designing a life that you love and making sure that you recognize your power, create options for yourself, and really live the life that you want to live.
That's very, very much my ethos as well, Cecilia, which is one of the reasons why I'm so delighted to have you on here tonight. So, living the life that you love, I think maybe it's time to introduce Norman. Is
Oh,
Norman still there?
yes, actually, and then to keep him calm, I know I'm the main person in my life. I have a little sausage dog, Norman.
Norman, hello, Norman. Norman's been participating in the interview all the way through, really, hasn't he?
Massively. And if he wasn't on my lap, then he'd be, whining on the floor, and I'd be like,
Ah,
"Oh,
so
yeah,
Norman is very much the love of your life right at the moment, isn't he, Cecilia?
he is." And during lockdown, I think he's even getting sick of me. So these looks like, "Why are you sitting on my sofa?" So
Yeah. So for all you guys out there, all you single guys as well, we should say that Cecilia is single, so she's probably the most eligible female in tech circles today. So there she is as well. That's a little plug for her too. Um, so okay, so let's talk a little bit more about Tech Women today, Cecilia, and also about Ladies Who Launch. What's the difference between those two groups and organizations? Which came first and why?
TechWomen Today came first. When I was working in technology, and particularly when I started to get to more senior levels of working in tech, I started to see that, there's quite a few women like leaving the organization, and they weren't leaving because they were going off to have babies. They were leaving because they felt like there weren't opportunities for them within the organization, within the industry overall. And I thought, my goodness, like this is such a dynamic industry. I felt like this is such a great industry for people to grow their careers and have many different roles, even within that one industry over the course of their career. And that's what really motivated me to start TechWomen Today, because one, I thought we really need to expand the definition of what it means to work in technology.
Mhm.
It's more than just being a programmer or a coder. You can be a program manager. You could be a business analyst. You could be a writer. There's so many different types of roles that you can
Mm.
have that are non-technical but still work in the technical industry. And even within tech, because tech is across pretty much every sector that's out there, you can work
Yeah.
in education and have a role in tech. You could work in art,
Mhm.
fashion, healthcare, all of these different industries and be considered working in the technology industry. So one, it's really expanding that definition of what
Yeah.
it means to work in technology and making it an even more attractive option for people to enter the tech industry and to remain in the tech industry. So that was one aspect of it. And
Mhm.
the other aspect of it was that as I started to get more into my entrepreneurial pursuits, I started to come in contact with so many other women that
Mhm.
quite intimidated by tech. And it's not just a female thing where women are intimidated by tech, but I saw that so many women where it's like, you know what, if you really leverage tech, your business could soar,
Mhm.
scale, and it could go to new heights that you probably couldn't even imagine. So the other
Totally.
aspect of Tech Women today is really to provide programming for non-technical female entrepreneurs that wish to leverage technology in order to grow and scale their businesses.
Amazing, amazing. And how about ladies who launch then, Cecilia? Talk
Yes,
about that.
ladies who launch. So I I I was a part of so many amazing female entrepreneur groups. I mean, when I first started to explore my entrepreneurial pursuits, and one of them still going. I'm still a part of Sister Snog, which is the best, one of the best networks for female entrepreneurs that I have ever been a part of, ever seen, and I'm still continue to just love the camaraderie and the programming that's a part of it. One of the one of the things that I really wanted to do that came out of being a part of organizations such as that is that I wanted to really push and encourage women to become entrepreneurs
Mhm.
and to explore this as an area. So many women I knew at the time, they had great ideas, but it was just that bit of motivation that they needed. It was just that bit of encouragement that they needed, in the programming, the support in place to understand and understanding of the resources that they needed in order to have that successful launch.
Yes.
So, Ladies Who Launch is really about encouraging entrepreneurship and also for people that want to take that business to the next level. And
Mhm.
during our programming, whether it be the content that we provide or events, I like to have what I call real talk because everybody gives you sort of the happy trail in terms of, I'm an entrepreneur and I wake up and I do yoga and I meditate and I'm so centered. Well, every day can go like this and up and down, and that's the reality of it, and that's normal and that's okay. And I think that it's through that real talk where you really have an understanding of, okay, wow, that is normal. Oh, okay, that so I'm not failing. It's like, no, you're doing well.
Yeah.
And it's so I think that that's one of the key differentiators is that I make sure that as we're doing the program, when we're having our interviews with people, it's real talk, and it's providing people with tangible, realistic action plans for what they need to do in order to keep making progress. It's about stop striving for perfection and just aim for progress.
Amazing. I love it because I talk to entrepreneurs more or less on a daily basis because people book calls with me and I get the real deal as well. And a lot of the time, I had a conversation yesterday with a lovely lady, and she said, I just feel as though things are not happening as fast as I want or that I expected. And I said to her, it takes as long as it takes, and you can't force it. What is being delivered to you right now in terms of your success experience is just exactly what you need right now because there are a few little gaps and some things that you don't quite understand in order to take you to the next level. And
It's
that's a process.
It is, and I think one of the things that I really had to learn was enjoy the journey.
Yes.
So many people are so focused on, and even I get guilty of it myself from time to time, and I have to catch myself where it's like, I want to get there, I have to get there, I have to get to this next, and it's like enjoy the journey. Look, think about where you were a year ago, 2 years ago.
Yes.
Look at where you are now. Celebrate that.
Mhm.
And then recognize that you have so much more to do, but enjoy the journey and be grateful for where you are now and be grateful for the steps that you've taken and where you've come from to where you are now. So and that's something I carry with me every day also is just having that gratitude, because you're gonna go through tough stuff. You really are.
You will.
But then it's being grateful. It's like, okay, that person was a complete jerk, or, that was a really tough experience or a tough meeting I went to, but be grateful for that, because now that's going to strengthen you. And then you take the lessons learned and you apply it and you move forward. Oprah Winfrey is one of my favorite people in the world. In my head, she's my best friend. She has an amazing quote that's on my vision board, and I look at it every single day, and it's turn your wounds into wisdom. And it's so true. Because think of you be grateful for all those rejections. Be grateful for all those times where you didn't get that opportunity. Be grateful for, the people that talk bad about you. Be grateful for the people that didn't believe in you, because it got you to the point and it made you stronger. So now you're just going to be unbreakable and bulletproof.
Wow, that's such a powerful message. Honestly, that's great. I love it. I love it. I'm sure that people on our group want more of that as well, Cecilia, but I'm just going to go to some of the comments because we've got a few questions coming through now. So is this program linked to health education to promote patient autonomy, Cecilia? Is there a potential for isolation? That's one of the questions. And then, by the way, there's some praise for Norman as well, which I thought I'd just mention before you answered that question.
Everybody loves Norman.
Yeah.
In terms of the question, I was trying to look for it, is there potential, is the program linked to health education, promote patient autonomy? Yeah, is there potential for isolation? I love that question, because one of the key things, and actually with our sensor technology, one of the key aspects that we also monitor is mental health, which is so important right now. So sensor technology, it's so powerful where now you have the capability to understand, is somebody feeling anxiety? Is somebody feeling fatigued?
Wow.
I know, this is why I love this place. So the data, and this is what, data is the new oil. So having that intelligence and having that ability and having that, imagine an individual like, as an individual, having that information where you're walking into a situation, you're starting to feel that anxiety, and being able to self-regulate and having that knowledge, I think is so powerful. And to be in a company where we are able to provide that type of tech and that type of data insights to individuals, I think that one, it helps people to continuously understand their triggers and make sure that they're responsible and accountable in terms of their mental health and well-being, which is so important. And we've seen that throughout this pandemic,
Yes.
absolutely. And also be in a position where they have an understanding of when do I need to reach out? When am I in a position where I am feeling vulnerable, and being able to action that in a positive way. So that's another reason why it's an area and it's an initiative that I'm so passionate about and so proud to be a part of.
Oh, that's really, really amazing when you think about it, and to have that data to be able to not just as an individual monitor your moods, but to have somebody, if for example somebody had any kind of mental illness, to actually be able to plug that into a system and identify vulnerable people ahead of time. Again, life-saving and life-changing for literally potentially millions and millions of people around the world. Wow.
That's why I love this tech. And I'm so grateful for the career that I had in banking and working throughout different corporations. But right now, the position that I'm in and being the CEO of this company that does this type of tech, it's something that so many people are really rallying behind, from our investors to our board to our clients to just people within our community, because of the good that it's doing. And people want to be a part of that. and people understand that that is something that is going to be relevant forever. And it's just an amazing thing to be a part of.
Oh, absolutely. Right. So let me see some more questions coming through. Jace is saying this is truly inspiring, and tech is such a broad concept and so wonderful how you make it sound achievable. And she's also saying, not sure whether Jace has some medical knowledge, but she says the cardiovascular system would pick up the signs sooner too. Does that mean anything to you?
I'm trying to, the cardiovascular system will pick up the signs sooner too. I'm not sure what she's meaning by that, but that's okay.
Okay, well, all right. Right. So Cecilia, let's go back to, you were talking about women in tech, and obviously the tech women today and ladies who launch. Why do you think it is that there aren't more women tech CEOs, for example? What is it that somehow puts women off?
Well, I think it's I don't think it's so much putting people off, or it always, for me, it all gets back to pipeline from when you have little girls, and are they interested in pursuing a career in tech? Do their parents know enough about the potential opportunities within technology to encourage them to pursue that particular avenue? And that's one of the reasons why I really wanted to make sure that Tech Women Today
Yes.
expanded the definition of what it means to work in technology, where you don't have to be a computer science major. You don't necessarily have to be a coder or a programmer. You don't have to be a maths major or anything like that. And really what it's about is just having the aptitude and the leadership capabilities,
Mm-hmm.
and both the soft skills and the technical skills in order to have a thriving career. Um, I think even if you take myself personally, I wasn't a computer science major when I was at university. I studied political science, which definitely helps me in my day to day,
It does.
and navigating organizations. But I think for me, what I bring to the table in terms of tech, am I the most technical person in the world? Absolutely not. But what I do bring to the table is my experience in terms of understanding how to run businesses, in terms of how to run strong organizations, and in terms of understanding how to bring together teams in order to deliver something that has a greater good. Um, that's really the value that as a leader, I feel that I bring to the table, and in terms of those skills that are going to motivate people, that are going to um, encourage people to think in innovative ways, different ways, in order to bring together different groups of people who probably would have never thought of working together, and all of a sudden can't imagine themselves not working together. That's what I absolutely love about my job, exposing people to and educating people on the different avenues of technology, and demystifying a lot of
Mm-hmm.
things around tech, where people see, oh, wow, that's actually really interesting. And I don't have to be, super techie, or, have an understanding of computer science to understand what she's talking about. And I understand how that relates to just everyday culture. And that's what tech should be.
Because really, tech, it's not even just a sector today. Tech is business, as you said. Every business has tech within it, and businesses can't scale today without tech. They just can't.
I think every aspect of our lives has
Mm-hmm.
technology. Who
Yeah.
amongst us is not using technology on a daily basis?
Mm-hmm.
Even some of us, you're probably even going to have more of awareness of it now, using technology that incorporates sensors
Yeah.
on a day-to-day basis. So I think it's really about people having that understanding of tech is not going anywhere, where it's already so embedded in the fabric of our day-to-day lives.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that I think is creates amazing career opportunities. And I think down the line we will see more women entering the tech industry. I think that we will see more female tech leaders. I think that it's important that other women and other girls see other women in positions of leadership and thriving and doing well. And I think that that's one of the responsibilities that I really take seriously in being that face and being out there so people can see that, yeah, wow, it is really possible. I know
Oh,
that's what I
definitely.
had in terms of those role models that I saw those women like in those senior positions at those organizations. And I thought, I want to do that.
Yeah, and that's it. You're out here showing the world that it can be done. So that's great. That's what it's all about.
And
Yeah,
that's great. And that's one of the key things, it's really, being that leader and being visible and being accountable and responsible and really walking the talk. And that's what you have to do.
definitely. Now we're getting a lot of praise for Norman, and I think we're going to have to bring Norman back.
The second appearance. Oh yeah.
Yes, here he is again. There's Norman. So he's very, very patient, isn't he? And looking very alert and observant. Yeah, he's a tech dog. He's Norman the tech dog.
He's actually, he's a Hive Dynamics mascot too.
That's great.
On a meeting sometime, and it's like, yep, Norman votes yes.
Okay, great. So if there's a decision that people are struggling to make, then Norman provides the extra vote, does he?
That's true.
Boardroom. Okay. Brilliant. Well, so if people wanted to get in touch with you, Cecilia, what is the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, I think I love the engagement and the comments that I get on my social media. So whether it be Instagram or LinkedIn, Twitter, like those are I love how people reach out, and I try and also make sure that I'm quite active in terms of providing content and just some encouragement and inspiration also. And it's great the feedback that I get from people and on those channels. So definitely, I think that's a great way of reaching out, because I love to hear about what people want to hear more about, and what they like and what they don't like, and it's great to see that from people. So yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, and if people were interested in joining TechWomen today, or ladies who launch, how would they go about joining or having a look at what it's all about?
Yes, for TechWomen Today, they can go on our website, techwomentoday.com,
Okay.
and fill out the form and become a member of the organization. Also, through our social media channels, just saying, hey, I'm interested in being a member, and just providing their contact details so we can include them in the list of what our upcoming events are. And similarly with Ladies Who Launch, our social media channels, and people can always feel free to reach out to me via my direct social media channels also, and I'll make sure that you get included on both of those items, whether it be TechWomen Today, Ladies Who Launch, or both.
Amazing. Okay. So the time's nearly up, Cecilia. So one thing I'd like to ask you before you go is there any particular thought or message that you'd like to leave our listeners and our viewers with? And I say listeners because this is also going to go out as an audio podcast episode as well as a YouTube episode. So what is it that you'd like to leave everybody with?
I think it's really about that message around, make sure that you're doing things, design a life that you love, invest in yourself, create options for yourself. I think it's so key, and really have an understanding of what your identity is. I don't know if I could end on one anecdote if we have time.
Yes, we do.
I remember it was shortly before. It wasn't too long ago, but I remember it was before I took my role as being the CEO of Hyve, actually. And I remember I had reached out to a former boss of mine, actually, who I had worked with. And there was a role that had come up for that, I knew was in his area. And I was hoping, I reached down and, I was hoping he put in a good word for me, like, oh, there's this role. And he said to me, he goes, oh, okay. He goes, but it's a senior role, right? Yeah, that's why I'm applying for it. And and I thought, okay, clearly he probably doesn't think that I'm, right for that role or senior enough for that role. And I remember, and if that were several years ago or earlier in my career, I would have, probably had a little doubt in myself or thought, is he right? And the reality is sometimes people are not going to see your power. Sometimes people are not going to see your worth, but you have to know what you're worth and you have to know what your power is. And several months later, I got the role of CEO of Hive Dynamics. And that's a pretty senior role.
Of course it is, absolutely. So, a company that's going global. It's a unicorn. It's a unicorn company, isn't it, Cecilia?
It made me think back to that. Is that sometimes people aren't gonna really see the value of you, but it's important that you understand what your value is and that you never lose sight of that, because the greatest blessing might be around the corner. And if you're not in that right state to receive that blessing, it could pass you by. And because I was in that right mental state and there was no imposter syndrome about me being able to do that role, I was ready to receive that blessing. So I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for that opportunity, that story rather, that situation, because it's a great story to tell today.
It is a great story, and it's one that I will remember myself, Cecilia, and I will also tell any of my mentees who are expressing self-doubt, because that is a really good one. So thank you so much for inspiring us today. It's been great to have you on here this evening. Thank you to everybody that tuned in. TechWomen today is an amazing initiative. And it says a great anecdote: know your intrinsic worth, self-belief above all else. So thank you very much, Cecilia, and we'll see you all soon.
Thank you so much. Great speaking with you.